This video is number 1 in the series titled, The Secrets of Life. The purpose of this series of videos is to open the mind of the viewer to the world as it really is. Many people have a limited worldview because they have only been given a limited amount of information about the world. This series of videos will provide the viewer with additional information that can help them to see the world as it really is. The subjects of the videos in this series will cover all aspects of human life, as well as providing insight into the universe around us. The videos in this series will be presented in 2 different formats. Some videos will contain a detailed explanation of the subject of the video, while other videos in this series will contain a partial explanation or no explanation at all. One reason that some of the videos in this series will include only a partial explanation or no explanation at all is to stimulate the thinking abilities of the viewer. If there is no explanation in the video and the viewer wants to understand what is being shown in the video, the viewer will be forced to think on their own about what is going on in the video. The value of the ability to think on your own instead of standing there letting people tell you how things are cannot be overstated. Another reason for providing only a partial explanation or no explanation at all for a video is to expose the viewer to new information they may normally not be exposed to. If the viewer of a video cannot figure out what is going on in a video, they will need to research new information to help them understand what is happening in the video. Without the stimulus of the video, the viewer may never have had a reason to seek out and be exposed to the information needed to understand the subject of a particular video. A third reason that some of the videos in this series will contain only a partial explanation or no explanation at all is to push the viewer into what could be called an altered state of consciousness. If the human brain is presented with a mystery, such as a video with only a partial explanation or no explanation at all, when the human being begins to consider the possibilities of the mystery, their brain can enter into an altered state of consciousness. When the human brain is in an altered state of consciousness, it can gain the ability to almost instantly understand new information and the possible ramifications of that new information. The understanding that can be gained by the human brain when it is in an altered state of consciousness is immeasurably superior to the understanding that might be gained from a complete and detailed explanation given to the human brain in its normal state of function. With that introduction, the presentation of the subject of this first Secret of Life video can begin. The subject of this video is an African dance. Please watch the following video clip of the African dance being performed. The computer model in this picture will be used to demonstrate some of the characteristics of the African dance. To perform the dance, the knees are flexed so that the body can be lowered approximately halfway to the ground. The torso leans forward so that the chest points towards the ground. The arms are crossed in front of the chest so that they are mostly parallel with the ground. With the knees flexed, the upper leg and lower leg form an angle that is open to the rear of the body, as emphasized in this side view picture. During the dance, the hands repeatedly circle around each other, while the legs repeatedly move towards the center of the body, then to the outside of the body. The legs of the model human being will now be animated, so they imitate the leg movements of the African dance. The motion of the legs during the dance could be described as swinging straight out to the side of the body, as shown in this animation, then swinging straight back towards the center of the body, as shown in this animation. Examination of this side view picture of the model human body in the African dance pose reveals that the upper leg runs straight from the hip to the knee, while the lower leg runs straight from the knee to the foot. The point in stressing the fact that the upper and lower leg are straight, and that the movement of the legs could be described as straight out to the side of the body, or straight in towards the center of the body, is that many people would think about or describe the dance in terms of straight lines. A person who views the human body as being composed of straight lines and moving in straight lines will have a limited understanding of how the human body is constructed and can behave. According to Happy Theory, there is another way to look at the leg movements of the African dance that can provide a completely different idea of how the human body is constructed and behaves. That other way of looking at the human body can be introduced by asking the question, why is the body lowered to perform the African dance? A possible answer to that question can be shown using the sphere in this picture. A sphere is a curved object that curves from top to bottom, and a sphere also curves from side to side. The next picture shows the side view of the model human body posed for the African dance, with the sphere placed right behind the bent legs. Part of the buttocks look like they contact the sphere at the top, while part of the lower legs look like it contacts the sphere at the bottom. There is a gap between the sphere and the rest of the leg, as emphasized by the arrows in this picture. That is because the upper and lower legs are straight, while the surface of the sphere is curved. The legs will now be animated so they imitate the movements of the African dance. As the legs move from side to side, the gap between the sphere and the legs remains throughout the entire movement of the leg. Only part of the straight upper leg and only part of the straight lower leg touch the curved sphere. A slight modification will now be made to the sphere. The sphere will be moved forward and made partially transparent, as shown in this picture. The entire front curve of the sphere now lays inside of the straight upper and lower legs. There is an unbroken curve running from the hips down to the feet. The legs will now perform the movements of the African dance. As can be seen in the animation, the curve of the sphere stays inside the boundaries of the straight upper and lower legs throughout the entire dance motion. The explanation for this video will end here. This video is one of the videos that is going to provide only a partial explanation for what is going on in the video in order to give the viewer the opportunity to figure out on their own what the point of the video is. A viewer who wants to understand what is going on in this video might ask themselves the following questions. What is the point in showing the African dance with a sphere superimposed on the legs? What is the point of noting that the curved surface of the sphere lays entirely within the boundaries of the bent legs? Why is the African dance performed the way that it is? Is it only a coincidence that when the body is lowered, the straight upper and lower leg are bent into an angle through which an unbroken curve running from the hips to the feet can be drawn? If the curve on the legs is meant to imply the straight legs can behave like a curve, does it seem plausible that the legs of a human being could behave as if they are one long curve that extends from the hips to the feet? If the legs of a human being really can behave like a curve that extends from the hips to the feet, exactly how does that work? How do the muscles, tendons, etc. of the legs change or function so that the leg behaves like one large curve instead of behaving like two connected straight pieces? According to Happy Theory, the answer to any of those questions could be described as a secret of life. The answers to those questions will provide insight into the construction and behavior of the human body and insight into the motivation for human cultural practices that not many people possess.